Hey, 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 good morning, good morning. It is Rose and Sanjay with Motivation Station. Rose, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Sanjay. I feel like
How?
today I need a lot of sage. So,
Yes, I can see that. I know we briefly talked about life right before we started the podcast, but what's going on? Can we at least start with one thing because it's been a while. So I want to ask about your mom, and we can talk about Nala as well if you'd like. But
uh, uh, two things that were asked. So, my mom today actually, she went with her friend, which is 78 years old friend, and four other ladies. They took a taxi and they went to this resort. I don't really know how many hours away, but I think 6 hours. She said 6 hours away. So, what we have in my region, it's like there's like resorts. It's like a I don't know, maybe you have that as well, or like a house, not a house, but it's not a hotel, but it's like a building with all kinds of rooms,
Mhm.
and they have like they feed you. They have all kinds of like healing baths, like a dirt bath and massages. Maybe like physical therapy. Like maybe exercises in the morning, like something to do for like anyone,
Mhm.
kids, like anyone. You could just take your family. So it's always been go to for my mom. So, and I was pushing her. I'm like, Mom, you just need to, like change the scenery, change the view. You need to go. You need to go. So, and all these ladies got everything for free because they were applying for something. They got the paperwork. For her, it wasn't.
Mhm.
And I know why. She said, first of all, it's 2 year wait. Second of all, she's not allowed because she's a cancer patient. And over there for a cancer patient, it's like a death penalty. Not allowed to do anything. Like you can't move left, you
Mhm.
can't
Yeah.
move right. You cannot put a heating pad because it's like so many crazy rules. And like, listen, you're still alive, keep moving.
Yeah.
We're living the life. So she's just like, it was not that much, but she paid it, and she's like, I'm going.
Mm. Right. And then
So
she's earned it, you know?
I am definitely, yes, excited for that because it's definitely better. It's local. Like six
Mm.
hours is not too bad. Instead of like, we still, I still want her to go outside of the country at some point, but I think it's a little too early. She's
Yeah.
still trying to adjust to the medication. She's been trying to figure it out which food is helping her with the digestion because it's a little vomiting reflex, from the medication. There's side effects. Like she's learning, she can't eat too much. She has to have like a drop like 5, 6 times a little bit here and there to eat.
Hmm.
We're
Hmm.
working on it. We're still leaving. We're still we're
Vegan,
still
yeah, of course.
moving forward,
Yeah. Hmm.
and I'm super happy about that.
No,
Still
100.
thankful for every prayer, support. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say 100% because like I know the last time we were able to briefly talk about it because we didn't talk about it last episode. We talked about it the episode before, and I remember you telling me like she wasn't doing great, like she was struggling with some stuff, and like we were all getting worried at this point. But for her to be able to go out on this little trip of hers, that's good to hear. You know, that means like she felt comfortable enough to be like, let me go do this thing. Um, and I'm glad that because I think also like for myself, I'm not gonna really talk about your mom for this one, but like
Yeah.
nutrition is 100% like important because I know my health is not great, and it's because I'm diabetic and stuff, and I I was taking care of myself, but then like I stopped, and I recently started again, and it feels like a night and day different when I start eating right. I start eating more greens, I start eating more fruits, I started eating more like natural sweetened food, not like add sugar. Um, and then like I did do some intermittent fasting as well, but then I
Okay.
also like hydrated a lot more. And I started going to the gym again, which was important. And like after all of those, like I can feel the difference in my body and my mood too. Um, but yeah, I mean, the prayers are gonna obviously continue for your mom, but I'm happy to
Thank
hear
you.
that she's doing better. We gotta set her up for a call too. It's been almost 6 months for her too, so we gotta do a 6 month follow.
Yes, it's very important to know where you are and what can you do with it, and
Yeah,
how can you what can you do next to do a little better, a
right.
little better. You know, whatever right now came to her hands in life. Okay, medication changed. Okay, this medication doesn't have any break. Okay, now we're learning how to walk again. Like
Yeah,
an infant, like steps. But the best news is we're not giving up. We're still okay. This is what's happening. What are we gonna do about it?
yeah,
This is what we're gonna do about it. Okay, just go and do.
yeah.
That's what I like. That's
I
the good attitude right there.
I think because that attitude, like I think that kind of passes over to like how we've been doing, right? So our roundup this month is about the ups and downs that we've been through in controlling emotions, right? And oh man, I think June has been one of the toughest months that I've had in a very long time. And I think like in the last few episodes, even even with the episode with John, but I think I talked about it after John left too. That like I was just struggling emotionally because I went through some um I'll say events. There's events in my life that happened that like kind of brought me down. But fortunately I had good friends and good family to like kind of keep me upright and up. And it reminded me like I think I was the most upset mainly because something had happened that made me question my character. And I think I said that lightly before too. Like I was just like I don't maybe I am really not a good person. Maybe I really am not like who I am. And
Mhm.
it made me it conflicted me because a lot of my friends were like, hey, like no, like you're you and you're fantastic, like you're a friendly guy, you always do a lot for everyone, and you always make us laugh, and you're always like there for us, and like now everyone was just like, now it's our turn to be there for you. And I'm not used to having people around that I can open up with. So like I had opened up with like one friend, and then like the only other person I opened up with was my best friend Jazz, who's the guy that like I think I briefly talked about Jazz a little bit, and I want to get him on the
Mhm.
podcast too. I did talk to him about it, and I just want him to open up about like our friendship and the stuff that we've been through. But like we finally went out to dinner. We finally had dinner last week during the week. I think I went out like Tuesday or something, or Monday. We went out Monday, and I just nonstop talked. Like I just kept going and going because I was just my sister-in-law calls it the funniest thing. It's called word vomit. I was just like word vomiting all over him. I just kept talking, but it felt so good to
Yeah.
like unload that because like I was like I must have been holding on to this forever. You know, but then I think the most beautiful part was that when we went out and I word vomited, he did the same. And I was like, damn, like I didn't know that you had all this under your belt too. Like I know he's stressed out from work and like he's always traveling and like a lot going on in his life, right? And but things are going well, which I'm happy about. But like I've never heard him talk about stuff that brings him down, stuff that he's like I need to let out, because all him and I both know that like all our lives that it was always me that was struggling and always like him being there for me. But then it was kind of
Mhm.
like one of those things where I never knew that being there for him made a difference for him too. You know, and one thing he actually said to me. So I'm not gonna spill the beans too much on him, but when we were younger, right? When we were like third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, right?
Yeah.
He was, I'm not gonna say a bully, right? But he would like punch me, right? And I didn't take it. No, no, no. I didn't take it a hard way. Like I didn't take it like, oh, this guy's being an asshole and trying to beat me up. No, 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 right? But like that friendly punches you do with like with your friends when you're just like, hey, shut up, hey, like that, right? It was like
Yes.
that, but it was a little bit stronger. Or if I did something like dumb, he would hit me for it, right? And like I didn't take it a certain way, right? So for him, like he in my life, okay, so I've known him for like 30 something years now, right? In my life, he's only apologized two times before this, right? One was he did apologize for punching me when we got older, and then one was for apologizing about.
Mhm.
how we were talking about like relationships and how I felt about them versus how he felt about them. And I was like I don't like the way you think about this stuff. And he's like, whatever, I don't care. And then like a day later, he's like, you know what, man, I thought about it and apologized. But anyway, but he apologized because he's like, I realized that I was actually bullying you. Like I was hitting you, and I really shouldn't have been. Like hitting is not right unless like it's like self defense or something. But he's like, it made no sense for me to hurt you like that, right? And he's like, I need to get this off my chest. And he's like, not to apologize, but help you understand. Like, he talked about why he was doing it. And I told him, I was like, honestly, man, I wasn't bothered by it. In fact, I actually grew from it because for me to him, I was like, when you were punching me, and as dumb as that sounds, and it's a very childish thing, but it's like, you do it with your boys. But I was like, as much as you were hitting me, I felt like you were just treating me like a normal person. Like you never reflected that I had a disability. You never reflected that like,
Yeah.
I'm treating someone lower than me. You just treated me like another fucking dude. That's it. That's it. And I'm like, honestly, I like that. And he's like, I didn't see this response. He's like, I didn't see how you actually felt about it. And I was like, honestly, like I mean, I said thank you. When somebody apologizes, you don't say, like, oh, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. I've come to learn that if you say thank you during, if somebody apologizes to you, like that's the appropriate
It's
response.
accepted. Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, thank you, but I was like, honestly, like this is how I felt about it, and like it was just nice to catch up with him. So I think a lot of talking to him and being able to vent on our podcast, and then just, I did make peace with my past events. So I am doing a lot better. Uh, but it was very interesting how like I don't know. I think he understood too that like we're guys, we're quote unquote men, right? And it's like it's hard to be vulnerable, but I learned with him more than anyone that we can be vulnerable with each other, and that's it, right? The second we walk away from each other and we go back to our normal lives, like we just feel fine. But like he was telling me, he's like, listen, man, we got to do dinner once a month. We got to do a call a few times, a few times during the month. I'll get to what I want to do a little bit later about like something about YouTube and making a show, but he's the villain in my show, and he was like, we got to call, we got to talk about like how we're gonna do the shots and how we're gonna do this and that, but like, oh my god, like June, like the beginning was like drowning, like deep under drowning, to like now I'm like over the moon at this point, and I'm feeling a lot better, health wise, mentally, and we still got ways to go, obviously, but like it was a definitely it was definitely an interesting month to say the least, you know.
I like that. I like that. That's a lot of reflection, a lot of restarting, a lot of it's great. It's part of the transformation, part of the change. Because we spoke about elevating, going to the next level,
Yeah.
right? Is as you said, I love the quote that you said, it's you versus you, one of them has to die. So I was like, that's true. And we if it's not dying, we just have to kill it at this point.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's
And
the way I feel.
it
She
sounds
needs to
rough, but yeah.
die.
Yeah, it sounds rough,
And
but
she
yeah.
doesn't want to die, but then I'm gonna kill her because she is taking away space, energy, because to have something great, you need to let go something good.
Yeah,
And she's good, but she needs to be
great.
drowned.
Yeah. Oh,
The
it's kind
words coming.
it's kind of like remember the quote I said? It's like I don't want to be good, I want to be great. Remember that? It's like that.
Yes,
Like I'm
yes.
definitely I feel you on that because like I definitely feel good. I feel good, right? But sometimes good isn't good enough, right? And like people will get upset about that, but it's okay because like the thing is, we all have our own reasons as to why we get comfortable with good or why we want to achieve greatness, you know? And everyone's on their different path. Just because like say I want to be good and you want to be great, it doesn't mean one of us is wrong and one of us is right. It just means that you want to do something different than I want to do. And that's it, you know? And then even if I want to do something great and you want to do something great, for example, I think one of the better things is like our podcast. we're doing good on our podcast, but I want it to be great too. And we're doing stuff to make moves to make that happen, right? But then we also have to reflect on ourselves too, because as much as the podcast is important and we love our crowd, we love our community, but like we have to also self-reflect on ourselves too, you know? Because as much as we want to sit here and just talk about podcasts, do whatever we can for the podcast, we have life. We have stuff we have to do in our lives. Take care of our family, take care of our loved ones, take care of ourselves, work, whatever, money. And it's, that part is the important. But then let's like, I see a quote over and over again, and I'm just gonna paraphrase it, but it's always like, if you stay in comfortable, if you stay in good, there's no growth. You'll always stay where you are, and you'll be content. But like, are you okay with that? And every time I thought
Yeah.
about it, it's like, am I really okay with this? And the answer half the time is
Change
no.
is uncomfortable,
Well, change is uncomfortable, but so is like
but it's
not changing.
necessary.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Yes.
like you can live your life like 9 to 5 job, have a happy family, go for it. Absolutely, I encourage that. I want, as long as you at the end of the day when you're putting your head down to sleep, you're happy. As long as you're like, I'm happy. I had a good day. You know, like some people like want to live this very lavish life, right? People want to make money, have a big mansion, have a lot of car, whatever. That's fine. Like, go for it, right? But some people are like, you know what? I just want 2 kids, live in a nice, humble, 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom house, have 1 car, go on vacation once a year, maybe twice a year. Okay, what's wrong with that? Nothing. That sounds fantastic, you know. But the problem that always seems to happen is people like they start to reflect, and or they'll start to compare, like, oh, I want to be like Sam over there, he has 3 cars, oh, I want to be like Travis over there, he owns 2 houses, and we start comparing, and I think that's where the dangerous part of the game comes in. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of a lot of that people
It's a
still fight
stealer.
and struggle. Yeah, yeah.
Stealer. It's good to, at this point, you need to know yourself. You need to know your values. You need to know exactly is what you want, is it really matter? Is it true to you? Is that exactly what's making you happy? It's important to know, like, what you really, what you really are, who you are, and what is your values. Like, do you really like, if that's what you want, 3 cars and 3 mentions, and that's who you really are, and that's your values, and you want to go your highest potential, work hard. Not hard, but work for it.
Yeah,
Put your head down, don't complain, and do what needs to be done.
right.
That's it.
I think,
And if you want to be
yeah, sure.
simple, just one fork, one knife, one plate, go for it.
Yeah,
I'm a little different. I
yeah.
need a couple of sets of flatware, different style. One for Christmas, one for summer. I need couple of chinas, summer, spring, fall, and
Mhm.
Christmas. But that's me,
Yeah,
and I know
absolutely.
myself. I want to be true to myself. I want to value what it. It's my values. That's what I like,
Yeah.
and I don't want nobody doing that. If somebody tells me, "Oh, this is too much," you extra, you too much. Why is it so much? Number one, I pay for it.
Hmm.
Number two, this is what I like.
Hmm.
Number three, I'm being true to myself. Because I was constantly, no, you can't have that much. You need to stay humble. It's okay to have only one dress. God forbid you buy another one. You know? I was like that. I was constantly squeezing myself and pushing myself in the corner. And one day I just said, stop.
Mm.
You're allowed to have a second dress.
Mm.
You're allowed to have another pair of shoes. It's okay. Nobody has to understand you if they don't understand that part. I want, as you said, in the end of the day, when you go to sleep, are you happy?
Yeah.
And that part was missing. I was constantly angry because I was constantly cramming myself in the corner.
Mm.
I don't want to do that anymore. This is who I am. This is how I like things. This is my values. This is my priorities. This is my qualities. This is my personality. And
Yeah.
this is what I do. This is what I do. And I like writing. I like to have my hairstyle every day different. I'll take an extra 5 minutes just to do a million braids and then braid them again.
You look great, by the
I
way. Just
will
to clarify.
have, you know, I will have my premium skincare that does what it needs to do.
Right.
I will have a different clothes every time I show up on my podcast. Why? Our podcast. Why? Because this is how I feel. I feel. Remember, we were talking about recycling energy, and this is
Mm.
how I recycle my energy. That's what gives me life. I'm not a. I'm not gonna say I'm a materialistic person or anything like that, but at the same time, I don't want to limit myself.
No, I agree.
Everyone has their own things that they want. Some people like cars, and they have collection of retro cars. Is their
Yeah.
thing. Why do they have to limit themselves?
Yeah.
They are being true to themselves. I want you to today. I want to encourage people: be true to yourself. Listen to yourself. You don't need to compare, but you need to know yourself. Because when you know yourself, somebody has a million things, and you're like, that's not my story. I know my story. If you're minimalistic and your story is one fork and one knife and one plate, go for it.
Hmm.
That's your story. My story is a little different, and that's who I am. And that's okay. That's my story. But if somebody comes to my life and limiting that story, doesn't value my values, wants, and needs, I don't want to I don't want to say anymore like, oh, I'm okay with that. Oh, it's okay,
Right.
we're all different. I gotta accept that. No, I am not accepting anything anymore. But respect, being valued, my values being valued, my wants and needs being met. If it's not there, that means I'm wasting my time. And it's not cocky. It's not selfish. It's you being true to yourself. And there's always a people around you that value your values. They know, okay, that's what he likes. He likes movies. He's writing movies, he's shooting. You're being true to yourself. You're spending time with your family. Like, hey, listen, I can go out today because I decided to spend time with my daughter.
Hmm.
You don't need to be guilty.
Yeah.
You're being true to yourself. And that's your values, that's your wants and needs. And that's what we're doing. We're hiring our vibrations and actually looking inside to our story, being like, okay, this is where I am. This is my story. This is my life.
Yeah.
And
No, I agree.
that today, that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, I could feel the energy there, but no, yeah, I agree with you, and there's 2 points I want to touch on that because I believe like no matter what you do, right? So either if you want to achieve a level of greatness like you are, like you want more out of life, there's quality in life, or rather, there's a higher level, right? So there's like, like you said, you like to dress nice, you like to get nicer dresses, versus people who are, they might just go out and get whatever they can, or whatever, right? And we all have different reasons why we do our things. I don't think there's anything wrong with someone settling with just, hey, I'm gonna go to the clearance rack and get clothes here, or somebody who wants to go to like a
Yeah,
high end, whatever, a high end store and get fancy clothes, right? And like I think even me and you have that difference there too, because it's like I know even at the beginning, it's like we were talking about like going from like basically like rags to riches kind of deal, right? And I'm like, you know what, I'm okay down here, and you're like, yeah, but I'm okay up being up here, right? And I think there was a point that we butt heads because I was like, but you got to remember, money isn't everything, right? But the thing is, I looked at it very surface level, right? I was like, money isn't everything. But for you, it's not about the money. It's about the fact that I work hard and earn what I have, you know? And then on the flip side, right? For you, it's like, oh, it's not about you don't want to wear, like fancier clothes or wear something higher. It's more like you're okay with being humble with yourself because you're happy. If you want to just wear a t-shirt with a car on it, go for it. Who cares? You're happy, right? And then like I know you you kind of got excited when I was like, yeah, I want to dress a little bit nicer because I look good. You're like, oh, there you go. Now you're thinking, But what I mean by all that is like, at the end of the day, right? I think you can be humble with whatever direction you can go. It doesn't matter, right? Because here's my thing. Even you're like, oh, you're definitely a person that I feel like you'd want to have like the best of the best, right? You want to have like a nice place to live, nice clothes, maybe like a walk-in closet full of amazing clothes and whatnot, right? But at the end of the day, right, you're still a humble person, because even people like Teresa, people like Gina, people like Polly, people like Dear Stala, like all these people that they know who you really are, and they know how humble you actually are. But if you come up to someone like that, like what you just said now, if you went up to a stranger, they'd be like, ah, nah, Rose is cocky. Like Rose is like a high maintenance girl, whatever. They'll say stuff like that, but it's only because that they don't know you well enough. And I agree with you, right? That like they didn't take the time to know you, so if they want to judge you on who you are, you don't have time for that. You don't have time to waste that. I need to prove who I am to you. And I feel like a lot of people in life do that. They have a need to have to prove themselves to others. The
Mhm.
biggest person that you have to prove yourself to anyone is yourself, right? I think it's the most important thing is that you just need to be a better version of yourself every day. And I think both of us, safely to say, we're both giving people. So as much as like we work hard for ourselves and we want what we want, we still give back as much as we can, right? And even in that, it might be like a little bit different, because it's like, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not judging or anything, right? But you know how they
Yes.
say like you want to have like, if you want to succeed, you want to have a circle of people who also want to succeed, because then all you do is succeed, right? You're with the dreamers, you're with the achievers, you're with people who want to fucking fight, fight all the way to like the top that they can reach in life, right? And I'm on the opposite side, and I don't mind. I'm on the side where people are drowning. I'm on the side where people are like, we don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, you know what? Even if it means I have to stick my hand into the fire to get you out, I'll do that. And then if I can bring you up to my level where I'm just very average, very normal, then after I know you're good, I'll start trying to go to achieve, like a level of achievement
Yes.
that I want. And like here and there it hits, because it's like sometimes you do have to remember that like I think it's more important that you can reach down to someone and pull them up than be on their level and try to tell them to get on your shoulders so you can raise them up, because that takes more energy. I feel like that takes a lot more effort. And sometimes that, like, for me, that's how I do things. Like I don't know if like, when I was feeling down the last like month or so, I did my best to encourage other people to have a good day. I encourage other people to like stay motivated. I have a friend who's like struggling to find a job, and I was like, hey man, like let's find a job together. I'll help you do your resume. I'll do stuff like that. Knowing damn well I was not in the mood to do it. Knowing damn well that like my attitude wasn't there for any of this. Right. And I think like, and I think I briefly talked about it, drained my energy a lot more than as if I worked on myself for a few days, got up, and then I said, hey, let's work on your resume, right? So then I think that's why the end of this month was more of that, taking more time for myself. Um, you know, one of my favorite songs is from like Run the Jewels, and the song's called Down, and one of the lyrics was, I took my eyes off the prize. I almost took my eyes off the prize. And honestly, when I thought about this month and last month and even just this full year, I did, because I was too busy trying to help people achieve their prize, and I don't regret it. I feel like it was a good experience, because like I was like, you know what, like I'm very selfless, right? And I was like,
Mhm.
I want everyone, I would love if I can have everyone achieve their goals and be at a level, metaphorically above me. And I just look up them, and I'm just smiling, and I'm just like, yes, you made it, you made it. And then
Yes.
I work on myself, and I join them, right? But like I think for that moment, I needed to remember why I was looking up in the first place, and I forgot, because I was too busy trying to look down to pick them up. And I feel like a lot of people are, they're doing better now. A lot of my friends are fighting the good fight. I'm trying to set up more time, right? There was this, like, I know like you're busy most of the time, and you have work, but there was a like a, what do you call it, like a reel I saw on Instagram or whatever, right? And it's like, we live in 2025, right? Like, I know outside of some people who are actually busy with work and life, and trying to do stuff, right? Like everybody has a phone, everybody has a phone, right? like, and we live in an age where we're always on our phones, right? Now I don't mean you per se, so this might not, might not be with it personally, but
Yeah.
like, a lot of people are just Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, texting,
Yes.
everybody is on their phones. So at this point, if you message someone and they don't message you back, right, it's generally like they chose not to message you back. I mean, of course, there's people like yourself. Like I said, yourself, you're busy. I know when I message you, I know you're working, I know you're doing something, so you'll message me back eventually, right? But like, there's people that I know that are always on their phone, and when I message you, and like you don't respond back, then it's like you kind of chose not to respond back. So that started hitting me. I'm like, we live in a technological age that, like, when people say like it's not about having time, it's about making time. This is just further proof of that. And if people don't want to make time, right? Like, don't feel bad for yourself. Like, oh, this person doesn't want to talk to me. Be like, all right, well, if I'm giving you time and you don't want to give me time, that's fine. I have time and I'll go spend it somewhere else. You know? And there's people like I just feel bad because I was like, it was a big self reflection because there's a lot of people who reached out to me that supported me, and I didn't respond back. And the funny part is, at least, like, some people, they're like, thank you for apologizing. Some people are just like it didn't matter to them because they were just happy that I responded back in general. They heard from me again. Like Dove, like one my old boss. Like we became good friends, and then I kind of just fell off for a while. And then I texted him the other day, and I was like, "Hey man, like I heard you did this," and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And I was like, "That's awesome. I'm so happy for you." I was like, "Yo, we got to catch up sometime." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, let me know. Like I'm always out and about. Just let me know the day, and I'll let you know where I'm at, and just come out." That's it. It wasn't like, "Hey man, you're a stranger. Don't text me. Don't talk to me." And I was just like,
Yeah,
I
he's very
apologize.
welcoming.
Yeah,
Yes.
but like, how many people are like that per se? A lot of people are just like, you know what, you stop talking to me, we're done. But going back to your what we were talking about before, right? So being humble, I think, is very, like, you can do it at any
Being
point.
true to yourself,
Being true to yourself, you
knowing
can
your
do it at any point.
values.
But as long as you're doing it for you more than anyone, right? Like, it's more important that you do it, and like, when you don't do it because you want to show off to others. It's important that you don't like do it so that like your people around you can be like, oh, like, look at Rose, like she's doing her thing. It should be like, wow, look at Rose, like that's awesome. And you should be like, come, like, join me. We're all rising together. Like, what did Chiamara said it? She was just like,
Yes,
if I'm rising, we're all
it's
rising,
important. Yes,
right?
because like even uh, a person at work, one of my coworkers, and I love to notes, cards, lettering therapy, and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I wrote him a note, wrote him a nice letter, gave him some vitamins that he needed, magnesium. I said,
Mm-hmm.
here, you need this right now. The words of encouragement and magnesium because you need to sleep. You need to relieve your stress because you're not happy because you're not true to yourself and you're not going where you need to be going.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's like seeing, as you said, you're on the side that people are drowning and you want to pull them out, right?
Yeah.
I'm on the both sides
Yeah.
because for me personally, one of my biggest passions was always helping others.
Yeah.
That can make difference in your life today. We're winning. We're both winning. But also, I don't forget that at the table with winners, conversation is different
Yeah.
because I need to balance myself of being positive and being like, you can do it.
Yeah.
And I have to believe in it myself that I could do it. And then be at the table like, okay, you want to win? Let me show you how because I can lead you.
Mm-hmm.
But before I could do that, I need to make sure I sit at that winner's table and learn how to do that and believe in myself. Because people that are drowning, they don't believe in themselves,
Yeah.
most of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that means it's taking away energy from you, and then you start doubting, am I believing in myself too? Like, you don't want to, you want to see that a fine line that you help them, but you don't take their mindset. Your
Yeah.
mindset has to stay sharp, and it stays sharp only when you know so. You know where you're going, you know your goals, you know your values, you know what you like, what you don't like, what you're capable of. Like, I'm okay of saying right now, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I'm not capable of doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
The things that I'm capable of doing, I'm going to be like, here, I could do this, and I will do it. And I will do it that good. They're going to be like, wow, I don't want to do something that I can't do.
Hmm.
There's simply things that I cannot do. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want, like, I cannot swim. I cannot bicycle. I cannot drive.
Hmm.
Okay? I don't think I should be a driver. I'm not allowing myself. It's just simple things that I cannot do. And I don't want people to, you can't even do that. Yes, I can. And I'm okay with that. I accept things that I can and I cannot. And that's why I don't feel guilty. I don't feel shame. I don't have to prove, as you said, other people prove. I don't have to do that. This is things I cannot do. But there's things that you cannot do. There's things that I can do so good that you'd be like, wow, you can actually do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can weave baskets. I can knit. I can sew. Like, there's things that I could do and people can't. It's okay.
Yeah.
Know yourself. Know your story. You know, when Trish has a book, right?
Hmm.
Know yourself, guided by God. She came out with a beautiful book. If you still want it, it's on Amazon. People, grab it. It's a working book. Know yourself. You don't have to prove anything to nobody. And be okay of saying, I can't do something. Be okay of saying no. It's okay to say no. You're not hurting nobody's feelings. It's
Yeah.
actually opposite. People will respect you more for saying no or saying yes and be like squeezing yourself out. You really didn't want to be there, but you said yes because you feel guilty. And you're like, I'm still here. No. Just say no.
Yeah.
It creates more respect for you. People start respecting your time. And that's what people, the time has no balance. Use it wisely.
Yeah.
There's no balance on time. We don't know how much we got.
Nope.
Use it wisely. So if you have that balance when you give and when you take, you have that balance. And that helps you not to burn your bridges, not to burn yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because remember, I sent you that little thing when you're burning yourself? Make
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
you're not burning yourself by
Yeah.
giving everyone love.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't
Because we
keep
give
somebody
so
else warm
much.
by burning yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was amazing. I was like, whoa, I was there. I just already transitioned from those stages, but I was there. And I never forget where I was because that where I was, someone is in that stage and I can show them how I get out from there and move towards different. There's you and there's so many ways. It's like a million ways. And we might only see the one way, but there's so many ways. And when you speak to your friend or somebody, even in that winner stable, they're like, listen, it's okay. It's great what you're doing. I like what you're doing. But don't forget there's a many other ways that you could do. You could
Hmm.
do it more simply. You can do it more easier. You can use different creativity. You
Hmm.
can look at different angles. You can shift your mindset so many times till it clicks. It's okay to say no. It's
Yeah.
okay to say I can't. I just can't.
Yeah. And there's
And
nothing.
if
Yeah. Like
something
I
does
said.
not value that in you,
Hmm.
I don't think they should be in your life. Not even in your life, in your presence, because it's drowning,
Hmm.
sucking your energy dry just by standing there. Person doesn't even do anything but just standing there and having time. It's already like, whoa, you just took 100% of my battery. You didn't even open your mouth yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Recognize yourself. Recognize who's around you. It's okay.
No, I agree with a lot of that. I like one of the things that you said about time is absolutely the thing because it's like, the time you spent is gone, right? Like you don't get that back, and like you said, there's you don't know how much time you actually have. So I know for me, a lot of my time was spent, and this month it was spent like towards certain things and not towards things that I feel like I should have been spending it on. And of course, through the lessons of life, I've come to learn like, oh man, like I can't bring that time back. I can't be like, oh, let me use my spent time, bring it back and bring it towards the ones I should bring it to. No, you kind of learn and you just move forward. And now like my time spent, I try to spend it with like the people who would do the same for me, right? So it would be people that I reach out to them, they'll reach out to me, and then it's like, hey, let's go for a drink, hey, let's play some games, whatever it may be. But like a lot of it I kind of set aside because I was doing my best to keep someone warm by burning myself, you know? And it was a good lesson. I did get out of it, and I remember how much I struggled to get out of it. But the people who stuck around to make sure I got out of it, like the amount of time that they spent to make sure that I was good is absolutely insane, you know. And Morgan, right? Morgan has come to be one of my like best friends now, and she was like the other day we were talking, and she said something funny to me, and a lot of people have said this to me, but I'm not a huge fan of my voice, right? But
Mm.
she's like, hearing your voice is soothing, and I was like, what the
It's really nice. I feel like you could be a DJ just on the
thank you,
radio.
thank
Like
you.
you
No,
do have
but
that radio
if
voice.
honestly, if I set up my mic better, it could probably sound better too. But she's like, your voice is very soothing, right? And I've heard that before. But a lot of people said they enjoy talking to me, just talking to me and hearing me speak. And they're like, there's something about it that's very soothing, right? So one thing she said to me is like, Sanjay, I am never on the phone. You know how people call each other on the phone and talk, right? I don't really do that. Like, I'm so fortunate, Rose, that like when you're in a relationship, sometimes girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives, they do that. They do a phone conversation. I never like doing that. So fortunately, I married someone who doesn't like doing that too. So we text each other whenever we need to talk or do something. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I was talking to Morgan. I was like, Morgan, like I tell her I wasn't really a phone person, but you're on the phone with me, and she's like, honestly, I'm never a phone person. She's like, I've there's people I've talked to on the phone in the past, even my own mother. I don't like calling on the phone. But she's like, I'll do it for you. Anytime you need it, you can always call me and I can always call you. I mean, we'll set up a call. Like I can't just call because like we don't,
Yes.
you know. But she's like, I'll be on the phone with you. And I was like, damn. Like for her to be like, I'll put aside something I don't like doing. But like then it's funny because like we have our phone conversations and it's like the same conversations we'll have while we game. So the only difference is we're not gaming, we're just talking on the phone. And she's like, like talking to you, it's comforting. She's like, hearing your voice on the podcast and talking to you on the phone, it's like your voice is very calming and comforting. And I was like, oh, that's very sweet for you to say. But like that's the stuff I'm talking about, that like she like sometimes we do stuff in life that like we're not a huge fan of doing, like maybe
Hmm.
uh s- uh I don't know. I don't want to give a crazy example, but like there's stuff that we might not do ourselves, right? But if like a friend is going through stuff and you care about that some person, sometimes you'll make the sacrifice. Sometimes you'll be like, you know what, I'm not a huge fan of this, but if you need something, I got you. You know, because I think that's what a friend really is. Is like one of my friends was going to bed later than they had to, and I was like, oh, it's so late for you. Like, don't stay up.
Yes.
They're like, no, I'll stick around. Like, I'm gonna be tired as shit in the morning, but you need company. And I was like, yeah, I need company, but I'm all right. And I appreciate that they stayed up as late as they did. And they're like, no, I mean, just let me know when you're gonna go to bed, and I'll go to bed too. And they stayed up for like another 20 minutes or so, and I can see them going in and out. And I was just like, all right, dude, it's time for you to go to bed. And I was
Yeah.
like, you know what, fair enough, I'll go to bed too. So like we both went to bed. They woke up tired as hell, and they were just like, ah, I'm tired. But they didn't complain to me. They're like, ah, it's your fault that I'm tired. It was just like, I'm just tired. But they did something where they have a structured sleep schedule, and they're like, Sanjay, you're going through some shit, I'm here for you, right? And it kind of in a way scared me because I didn't think people like that existed, because I always felt like I did that. I always did so much, Rose, that I probably never felt comfortable doing for other people. And it's like dumb stuff too, right? But it's dumb stuff to me, but it's happy stuff for them. And I was like, I'll do it. And then up until recent events when shit happened, I was like, you know what? I'm taking a step back. If I really don't want to do something, I'm gonna say no. And that's what I started doing. And that started helping me a lot more too, you know? Like I have friends who hit me up and they're like, hey man, we used to play games every night and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, because I sacrificed everybody else instead, you know? Like I play games with just you and no one else. So now I'm gonna go play games with them and then I'll play with you when I can, you know? And they're like, oh well now I gotta make a schedule to play with you. I'm like, not really I was like, not really a schedule, but like if I have plans to play this game tonight, this game tomorrow, I'm not doing anything the night after. We can play games then, you know? And it's not about scheduling. It's just that these people, like, you know, these were the people that reached out to me the second I fell down. They're like, yo, you good? You good? Talk to me every day. How are you doing? How are you feeling this morning? Did you eat? Like, people don't understand that's little love languages. Like, did you eat? Drive safe. Be careful. Like, people
Oh
don't
my god, I
understand how
love
much.
that.
People don't
People don't
understand
use that anymore.
how much that means. And like when I
That
tell
means
that
the
to
world.
I think I was telling that to someone and they're just like why do you say all that? I'm like, because that's my way of saying I love you. Like I like some people they feel uncomfortable when you say I love you because like you know like I love you Rose, but it doesn't mean like I'm in love with you. I'm trying to put a ring on it or anything like that. Not that you're not worthy, of course. You know I think you're the most amazing person ever. But like you know like I love you because I love who you are. I love who you are to me. I love who you are to you. I love who are to like your friends. I love who you are to this podcast. I love who you are to your mother, your siblings. You know I just love who you are. So I'm happy to say I love you, you know? But I also say stuff like, did you eat? Do you need help? Do you need anything? Do you want to talk? Do you want to call me? Do you want to hang out? All these are little form factors of love. And like people sometimes take I love you the wrong way. So then that's why I say stuff like that. Like, hey, did you eat? Did you like one of my friends every day I talk to her, I'm like, did you have your coffee? It sounds stupid, right? But that's the way I express like you know, I care about you. Did you do the stuff that you love to do? Did you have your coffee?
Especially if the person is foodie, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like this person, she became a good friend of mine, and we play like video games together. And she started. We talk like every day. We actually do talk every day lately, and like she works like a I think she's like a nurse. But anyway, like so
Mm-hmm.
she
Yeah.
works like long shifts and stuff like that. And one of the biggest things we connected on was coffee, right? Now I do little sweet gestures that don't mean anything, right? To me, I just feel like it's a nice thing to do. I'll buy her coffee. She doesn't live near me. Nowhere near me. So I Venmo her money for coffee. I'm like, here, go get a coffee and a donut. And she's like, you don't need to do that. I was like, I know, but I like to. And instead of fighting back and saying, well, you shouldn't do that. Like, I don't like you do. I mean, if you don't like doing that, that's fine. But instead of fighting back, like, oh, you don't need to do that. Like, I don't want to feel like I owe you anything. No, she accepted a gift from her friend. She was just like, thank you so much. That means so much to me. I was like, yeah, no problem. And then that's it. Like that's like I like doing that. I like giving. Like sometimes if like, when I had money, you know, I'll be like, hey, like here's $5. It's hot. Go get an ice cream. You know, go get this. Go get
Yeah.
that. So to just random people, and they're just be like, you don't need to do that. I was like, I know. And then I think that's like I love telling people all the time. Like I never do stuff I don't want to do. I never do stuff I don't want to do. I do stuff I want to do. Wait, no, sorry. I don't do stuff I have to do. I'm sorry. That's what I meant. I don't do stuff that I have to do. I do stuff that I want to do. You know,
Okay.
I don't think I even fight to doing stuff I like. Oh, like you have to breathe. You know, stuff like that. Okay, but even like working the job I'm working, even like playing the games I'm playing, or you know, hanging out with people I'm hanging out with. It's stuff I want to do, right? And I feel like it's respectfully there because as much as I want to do this, and it's especially for other people, they want to do it for me too. Like I know I have a friend who's like down in the hole. Like I said, I'm trying to help him find a job, right? But when I felt like they knew they couldn't do anything for me, but only give me words of affirmation, you know. And they live far away too, so they're like, you know, if I was there, I'd give you a hug. If I was there, I would tell you that it's okay. And even stuff like that, I'm like, that's great, you know. Like I
That's
don't.
already a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's more than most, you know. Like it like it's comforting knowing that like a person like that exists, and I know for a fact that once they get on their feet they'll do the same for other people. Absolutely, you know, they'll even buy me a coffee, they'll buy me like a drink or take me out to dinner. They have no problem doing that. It's just that I know in their
Yeah.
situation they're in now, they can't. But even when they can't, they're still willing to try. Just like us, sometimes we have a bad day, right? If I had a bad day and I'm sitting there drinking coffee, right? And somebody next to me spills coffee on themselves, I'll get up, I'll grab napkins. I'm like, oh, sure, sure, you good, you good? Because then, like, it's just like, as much as I'm having a bad day, I still have that tendency to care for others. Like I'll still get up and run over and help you. If I see you fall and I'm having a bad day, I'm gonna run over to you, be like, oh my god, are you okay? Are you okay? And then like
That's a great
it's
quality to have.
it's tough because sometimes people get so lost in their own world and they get like so scared and like they just kind of focus on themselves. Like I sometimes get lost in myself. There's times where like it was happening like this past month that like I'll just stare at nothing and people will know that I'm lost and they know I'm lost in thought and they leave me there, right? But then if they see like, cause like I wear my expressions on my face, you could tell by me crying all the time and stuff. But like, if they see me start becoming sad, they'll come back and bring me back to reality. But sometimes I just sit there and I just stare and like I'm just thinking about things, and it was really bad for like June. But like I this honestly, Rose, like the last few mornings this whole week I've been getting up a lot better, crazy amounts better. Like I was going through anxiety, I was having panic attacks, I was going through a lot. And like just thinking about it makes me emotional because it's like it was tough, man. The beginning of this month was just super bad and every morning was a struggle. But this past week, today, like nothing. Like I stayed up last night. That's why I'm a little bit tired today. But I stayed up last night a little bit because I was watching Squid Games because that came out yesterday.
Ooh.
My wife and I
The new
watched
season came out?
it should be the last season. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Oh
So
my god.
my wife and I watched four
Very
hours,
intense.
4 hours
Yeah,
straight, and it was like 2:30. I was like, I have a podcast. We need to go
I'm
to
gonna
sleep.
watch it.
I was like, we
Yeah.
need to go to sleep.
I
Um,
know.
but like it's all the little things, and even like with my wife, we'll talk more about ourselves too because we had our episode and we talked about our struggles and we're going through the trials and tribulations. We're going through the stuff, and I think it's getting better, right? And I think it's because we're communicating more, we're talking about it more, and
Yeah.
we both also feel comfortable in the space where it's like my even though I know like your partner is your partner, they're your best friend, you're supposed to be able to tell them everything. But for me, I don't feel that way, right? I feel like I will tell you 99% of everything in my life, but the 1% I hold to myself. And I can only talk about it to like maybe like Jazz or it's really just Jazz at this point, my friend Jazz, right? But it's only because like for me, there's stuff that I don't want to talk about to my
Private.
partner. Yeah, to my partner, because it's like an internal struggle for me. And right now, like I said, my wife and I are going through it because back then, if I talked about struggles about myself, my wife would talk about struggles about herself, and I'm like, this is not good to talk about like this because now we're both down. You know what I mean? Like now we're both sad, and I'm like, we can't do this. We have to be able to lift each other, right? So now we talk
Yeah.
about how we try to lift each other up, but like for me, there's still very, and it's very little, Rose. It's like very little that I'm like I can only talk about it with the inside version of me. It's the whole me versus me, and one of us must die kind of deal. And like very little with like Jazz. There's stuff that me and him share with each other that is about our lives, about growth that we literally will take to the graves with ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot where I was going on
Yeah,
with all
what I
this.
was going to say, like, I am also not a phone person. I text. But if I being a phone person, I like a video call.
Yeah,
Like,
you
I
did
want
tell
to
me that.
see
Yeah,
your emotions. I want to see what you're talking about. I want to feel like I'm next to you.
yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe because we're in the texting area, because it's
Oh,
faster. It's like,
it's more convenient.
you know,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. And I don't want to call you because I feel like if I call you, we need to spend an hour. If I text you, it's 5 seconds.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But if I see you that you need me, or just to say hey hi, then it's gonna be a video call
yeah,
because I want to feel like we in a room together,
Yeah. No,
discussing what we need to discuss and
I I
having
think
that
no, I think you doing
conversation,
that is
emotion.
actually. I think you doing that is actually a. I'm sorry to cut you off. I think you doing that is a very important thing. Because that's what we do, right? Like when we have to have a discussion or we have to talk, like I like that because you're right. It feels exactly like I'm sitting next to you and I'm talking to you. And yeah, seeing your expressions, seeing how like you feel about things. That's why I
I
like.
feel like that's very distant.
I
That's very
actually
distant
yeah, no, but I also
for
like
me.
it's like and honestly, it's like like you doing that has been bought into this podcast, right? Because we could have just done audio for this. We didn't need to see each other. A podcast could just be audio, you know? Our podcast is a little bit more rare that it's actually like a video one, but our podcast could have just been audio. But the fact that I can see you, you can see me, our guests can see us, it gives that like honestly I would give anything to have a space, like say if we could ever have a space together, like a studio where we can actually shoot this and have everybody in a room. That would be fantastic, but this is the next best thing that we can do. And it definitely feels different than a phone call. I wholeheartedly agree with you, but I'll be honest, there's times where I'm like I don't even want to text you because I want to hear your voice. Because even texting you, like I can, like if you text me back, I can hear your voice in the text, you know, I can hear how you're talking back,
Yeah,
just like you can hear me, you know, in a text, right?
yeah,
But like also it feels nice, and I think it's partly because of what Rose said. I mean, not Rose, sorry, what Morgan said, that it's like sometimes like, you know, to me, to her, she's like, your voice is calming, and to me, I'm like, it's calming to hear you talk to me too, you know, because like the only way I heard her voice was through like a gaming headset, like the headset I'm wearing right now. So like, you know, it's not always clear clarity, stuff like that. It's kind of, it's a gaming headset and it's not always the best. When you're talking to someone on the phone, it's a crisper, you know, it's a phone, it's supposed to have good quality. So when I heard her, she sounded slightly different than she did when we played video games together,
hmm,
but like, you know, she was still the voice I recognized. And like, oh my god, like, so when stuff had gone down for me, like, you know, in my events, right, the way we were talking, it wasn't even that she was comforting me. She was just there and we just talked about like gaming, about food, about Paris, about Jersey, about Texas. Like we just talked like we would playing video games. And Rose, it was the most comforting thing I've ever experienced in my life. Remember how I told you the story of when I saw my best friend Jazz and I was going through some depression because some girl broke my heart, and he's like, come outside, and I was like, I don't want to go outside, and he pulled up in a car, and I told you I sat in the car and I forgot everything, right? I experienced that again with Morgan on the phone. I forgot that I was in San Diego at the time. I forgot I was in San Diego. I forgot that I was sad. I forgot what had happened during that time. I forgot like shit was not going good and I had days remaining. I forgot all of that
yeah.
when I talked to Morgan. And I thought it was one of the most beautiful things. I'm so thankful for her that it is absolutely insane. Like she has become my best friend. And she's very real with it too. And I think I can be vulnerable with her, but like I know we lean on each other a lot. And like I don't think like Morgan is more in a under like a realistic state that's like when things are bad, they're bad, but so be it. What are you gonna do? Like Morgan is a firm um believer, like she's in a comfortable space knowing that if there's shit beyond my control, there's shit beyond my control. With like, I'm not gonna deal with it. Like, I can't do anything. Just you gotta write it out. So you know, I used to be like that, and I like I feel like I just got caught up on a lot of stuff, and I forgot who I was. And then Morgan reminded me, my friend Mindy reminded me. You know, I have some guys. I have some friends who play like horror games with me, and it's funny because they're like a couple, and then sometimes their sister plays too. So you know, I'll play games with them. I played games with them last night, and they always want to like hang out in a way. Like they always want to play games with me, but they wait for me to ask because I was always busy because I was always trying to make time for other people. So they wait for me to be like, "Hey guys, like, you guys want to play something?"
I
Oh
think
yeah, yeah,
at this point you need a gaming calendar
yeah,
to
exactly.
say Mindy,
Listen,
this day is Morgan.
that's what I do now. But like now after a while, when I started talking to them again, right? And I told them I was like, I apologize for like, you know, me not spending as much time with them, and they're like, it's okay, dude, like we're okay with it. And I told them I was like, listen, whenever you guys want to play, just hit me up and we'll make the time accordingly, you know? Because sometimes I can fit in more than one person in a night and stuff like that. But I try to at least be consistent. Yeah, I try to be consistent. I know it sounds weird. Gaming is my escape, man. I grew up with it, but, um, like, I
Make a
just
membership now.
important. Yeah, listen, I could make money off that. It's like only
Yeah, gaming club.
it's like OnlyFans, but it's only games, you know. And that's it.
Only games for
Only
the
games
membership.
with
Yeah.
Sanjay. Yeah,
Like I don't know, 2.99 something.
for
And
like an
that's
hour.
like
Yeah,
a game.
exactly. You get
Yeah.
VIP. We could do VIP calling. I'll turn on my webcam. You know, you can see how I look. No,
Yeah, exactly. Look at
um,
that.
but anyway,
Ideas.
like as you
Gaming
can
club.
see, I think as you can see, I can see it in your face too, Rose. That I know when we first called before we started the podcast, me and you were in a rougher spot, but now I see both of us glowing. I see both of us smiling a little bit more. I think we always need these. You know, I think I was telling
Yeah.
you, and I'm gonna tell my community here at Motivation Station that um, I have friends talk about they went through therapy. I have friends who talk about doing things that make them feel like they're healing, right? And I was just telling Rose that this is my therapy. Being on this podcast, being able to talk, being able to vent, being able to meet people, being able to talk to Rose, all this stuff is my therapy. And I am so proud of us. I'm more proud of you, but like I'm
Thank
so happy to be able to do this. I think it's a wonderful thing, and we're always gonna keep this going. We're always gonna keep this kicking. We want to build and improve, and we'll definitely talk about that a little bit more later on. But I'm very very happy that that one
Yeah,
fateful
so
day, Rose, you came up to me and said, "Hey, man, let's do a podcast," and I was like, "All right, let's do it."
like, yeah, why not, right? Yeah, that was amazing. That's the best decision I think we made, and the best quick decision we made,
That yeah, that
because
was very that
people
was very
do.
just like let's do it.
Yes, it was quick. A lot of people like, oh, let me think about that. Let me plan. Da, 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 da. If you don't do something that you want to do in 72 hours, there's a great chance that you'll never do it. And so I'm glad we hopped in this 72 hours to say, yes, we're doing this. The best thing for me that I've learned, okay, when you in some emotion, like angry, right? I told this morning, I said, I'm so angry. It's just certain things happen that triggered me. That Virgo, that person that likes everything certain ways. It's
Right.
not OCD or anything like that. It's one of my personalities. Like, okay, I told you I'm gonna get there. Like, you didn't give me a chance to get there, and you just for me, right? And I was like, whoa. The best thing is to recognize, okay, right now, this is how I feel, but I don't need to be stuck in this emotion for the rest of the day or for the rest of the week and dwell on it. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like to reflect and see, okay, this is how you feel. Okay, what do you want to do about it? Remember, we spoke about this? Like,
Yeah.
what do you want to do about it? Okay,
Yeah.
that's what you want to do about it. Are you going to sit and complain about it and cry about it? Or are you actually going to do something about
Yeah.
it? And I said, let me do something about it. Let me let it out if I need to. And then, okay, see, okay, now it's time. It's giving time. For me, motivation station is giving time. I give back. I give back my experience. I give back my things that's going on because some other person might be in the same situation and you need to get unstuck. Get unstuck.
Yeah.
Don't stuck. If you stuck, it's okay. Just get unstuck quick as possible because you need to keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
Keep moving. Don't don't be like, oh, I'm so sad and I'm stuck and I'm depressed. Nah, get unstuck.
Yeah.
It's okay to be sad, angry, unhappy, whatever. But it's okay to be happy, joyful, and giving and all that motivated. Every
Mm-hmm.
motivator needs a motivator.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
this is what we have here. As you said, it's your therapy. This is my recycling energy because I feel good when I give.
Yeah.
And I feel good that I can say, hey, listen, some people have the same situation right now. And by hearing this, they're like, oh, she's, I like that she told us, like, or she suggested us, not told, get unstuck, get a little bit more happy. Just do one thing that makes you happy. Remember, we spoke about this challenge.
Yeah.
Do one
Oh
thing that
yeah.
makes you
We
happy.
we always forget
Yes.
to do
I
that. We got to bring that
remember
back. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean,
things.
no. Here's the thing. So I think we
You
both are
know,
doing stuff that makes us happy. We just forget to mention it on the podcast for sure.
it's
But
like do something that makes you happy. When I'm at work, there's not even one person will take away my joy of me interacting with people that come here. Because for me, excellence is number one. No matter how I feel, pissed off, this words, right? Angry, stressed, overwhelmed, whatever the words are, that's a low vibrational. I will always bring back, tap myself right here, do everything out of love and say, right now it's about excellence. It's about providing excellence. It's about making someone's day more brighter, joyful, delightful, fabulous, mesmerizing, unforgettable.
hmm
You know, I want to move from low vibrational mode to the high vibrational mode. I want to be unstuck. And I've learned to do that quick enough because I was keep practicing to do that. We can always sit and complain all day long, but where's that going to give you? Pretty much nothing. But when I do that, providing that excellence, be like, hey, your day could get better
yeah,
just by smiling. Your day could get better by just changing the way you feel right now. The way you feel right now, is that making you any better? Because not really.
yeah,
Not really. Can you do anything that could get better? Do you really actually want your life to get better? A lot of people don't. They just want to sit in what they sit and they're okay with that. No, this is not my story. I
yeah,
know my true myself. I know my values. I know what my story is. And
the,
yes, it's
yeah,
okay to be angry.
yeah,
But can you unstuck? Is that what you want to be? Is that your everyday mood? Is that what your life is about? Because some people's life it's about drama, gossiping, sadness, depression. That's what they want.
yeah,
But there's always a million other ways. And by just sitting in the different rooms, you can recognize that. Just by being here every Saturday, 11 a.m., you can recognize that. That life definitely better with motivation station. And we appreciate every single person that comes in, joining us, listening us on Spotify, liking, sharing. The sharing is amazing. We have almost 2,000 views.
yeah,
That person took their time, invested hour and a half, put the middle hour, right? Hour and a half invested, took their time, listened to us, and say, hey, I actually like this because it's really motivational.
yeah.
And this is what we do.
I
This
think
is
it's
our therapy to you and to us.
yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I like how you said that, and that I did want to lay just one last thing on it because I know we're at the hour mark here. That I agree with you, right? It's there's a quote for it. I know there's a quote for it. I'm gonna remember like after the podcast,
Yeah.
but it's
Empty
about
with the
being
quote.
it's
Let's go.
it's it's about like being angry, right? But it's like you said, it's okay to be angry, but don't lash out from that anger, right? So like if you want to be angry, hold it in, right? Hold it into yourself and find out what you can do to cool down, you know? And if that means sitting alone, if it means venting to a friend, if it means standing in a room and just screaming at the top of your lungs, like
Screaming.
just
Better
do it,
for
right?
yeah.
But the thing is, never take that anger out on anyone, right? It's also dangerous to kind of take out that anger on yourself because then you can become like a very self-inflicting person, like you just keep attacking yourself to get over this. But like it's okay to be angry. It doesn't make you a bad person, it doesn't make you an evil person. It's okay to be angry. We all get angry. It's how we handle the anger that really dictates what we become after, right? The other thing I was gonna say was, oh crap, forgot. Um, it's gonna hit me later. But anyway, so I no, I agree with you that I think it's very important that like I mean, oh sorry, that's what I say. There's people who like they'll feel stuck, right? And I agree with you to a point in there too where like they want to just be depressed, talk about depression, talk about just staying down, right? But like it is a choice, and I know it sounds shitty to some people. It might sound awful because they're like, no, like no, this is just my life. It's not. That's the craziest part. That is that it's not. Like you might be drowning, you might have lost your job, lost your girl, lost your boyfriend, whatever. But like it's not the end of your life. You're still living, you're still breathing. It's don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's easy to just get back up and get going. But what I'm saying is that you can't sit there and be like it's over when it's not. You know?
Live
And
through
I
your
and
emotions.
and I think there's times where I'll get angry because people will feel that way. But then I learned it's like you ever hear that saying, you can bring a horse to the water, but you can't make the horse drink the water. You know? So it's like I'll try to lead people to understand that they can get back up again, but I can't make you get up if you don't want to get up. You know?
Yeah, so
And
one of
and,
my
and
favorite yeah,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
sorry, one of my favorite quotes on that: you must take a chance to have a choice, or your life will never change.
Yeah. Like it's 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 actually insane that as long as we're breathing, there is a chance. And people don't see life that way. As long as we can keep fighting, there is a chance, right? And one of the biggest and beautiful things about Motivation Station is when you think you're alone, you're not. There's always people around you. There's always someone looking out for you, someone thinking about you, right? And I pray and I hope people listen closely that don't think it's vulnerable when you have to do that, because I did. I thought I was vulnerable by asking for help. And listen, let me tell you, it's not being vulnerable. It actually is being strong. It's about, having the strength to like reach out to somebody, you know? And honestly, as much as like reaching out to someone and you might get like a no, that doesn't mean that everyone will give you a no. You just need that one yes. And that will make all the difference in the world. You know, like for me, like I thought I was drowning, I had no one. And then like I literally tilt my head up and I'm like, what? Like one day I just snapped. I woke up, I'm like, what am I talking about? All these people are here for me. I'm not alone. Like all these people want to talk to me, all these people want to hang out with me, all these people want to take me to dinner, all these people want to, play video games with me. What am I talking about? What, like I started like almost losing my mind after a while because I was like, I literally almost started drowning for what? you know? And I stood up and I was like, and I know a lot of our friends, even people here watching Motivation Station, they're going through a lot. Like, if you want to talk, you can reach out to Rose or me or whoever. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have a bunch of stuff. And I just, like, I thought it was weird. And I was like, I don't want to reach out to anybody because I feel like I'm weak. But it's not weakness, it's strength, it's making me feel better. And I think that's why it's nice to know that I'm feeling better now. And at the end of this month, I ended up back up top, which makes me super duper happy. I just remembered it's one of my friends' birthday, so I gotta hit them up. Sorry, I just looked at the date. But anyway,
Yes, it's actually my cousin's
so
birthday,
I gotta
and
hit that,
yesterday was
hit them
my
up.
other cousin's birthday, and yesterday's cousin's birthday, he's in the war right now,
I gotta.
so he has so many good hero awards.
Oh
So I'm
wow,
proud
okay.
of him.
Yeah, no, I
Yes,
gotta. So,
it's
like,
like
one thing I started doing more. So one thing that makes me happy. So I'll say right now. So we'll end it with this, right? We'll talk about one thing that makes me happy, one thing that makes you happy, and then I'll talk about next week's episode, and I think we should
okay,
be okay. But one thing that
yeah,
made me happy this week that I did is I reached out to a lot of people that I used to talk to often, and I just caught up with them. I talked to them. I was like, let's do dinner, let's catch up, let's get a drink, let's just hang out, let's go take a walk in the park, and I did that. And there's a few people who responded back and said, yeah, let's do it, let's catch up. And I still apologized on my part there. And like I said, instead of saying you didn't need to apologize, they said thank you. So I feel at peace now because I'm like, okay, now I don't feel like a complete dickhead for abandoning them at times. But I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to fight this, to get out of this. And I thank all of you, including you Rose, that I'm here now.
One of the things that made me happy this week that I am on a very clear financial goals. Goals. I've been struggling there a little bit myself, just to finding a right plan of how to get out what I need to get out from and move and start building a foundation, which did happen. And I found a really great CPA, and that helping me to have a nice plan according to my taxes and pension. I've been
Mm.
struggling there for a bit, but now we have a good plan, which is helping me. Also, one of the great things happened for me this week. Remember, I injured my hands
Yeah, I
due to
remember that.
work, and this week on Wednesday, God sent me a nice doctor my way. Was one of our customers, and he told me exactly what I have. He told me exactly what to do, and I'm going to be scheduling a procedure. Um, he said, do it right now. The procedure, don't wait, because the longer you wait, you're gonna have to have a surgery. I
Yeah,
said, we don't want to get there, so I want to get this shot for my hands, which it's that's not what I made something that makes me happy, but everything is aligning up
yeah,
towards a clearer path,
yeah,
because I always pray for guidance from God. I said, God, anything that you do, just guide me in the right direction, because my path, right, it was kind of foggy. All I saw is a fog in my path.
yeah,
Now it's clearing up. It's clearing up. I see some sun. I see some clouds. It's clearing up, and I'm happy about that because I'm constantly praying for something that I need. And I know God is always hears your prayers, answers your prayers. He's my best friend. And just clearing that path and just taking the next step towards the better better version of myself and better version of getting clear on my goals and being clear on the things that actually make me happy, you know, getting back to walking a little bit, maybe even just a 30 minutes walk every day outside, or, because it's times when I go, 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 do the steps, and then boom, I don't, because maybe it's a lot of work or this and that. I said, no, I need that 30 minutes for myself. It's just me and myself, nature, that makes me happy. So
yeah.
just getting this things that happening to me and guiding me to unfuck my path, if that's the word.
On
Just get that clear
defog.
road.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Whatever. Yeah, we get it. I don't know.
Let's do defog, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's defog
Let's do
our
defog.
path
Yeah,
and just start going, knowing
yeah.
yourself,
Amen to that. And
doing
I
things
think
that you love.
the one thing that you said there is what I started doing too, right? So you do a nice half hour, which is great for yourself, right? Every day, everyone should take 10 minutes to themselves. Be at peace, right? Sit somewhere quiet. Sit there and just be with yourself. You know, one thing I did with that is that, and I started talking out loud. So talking to yourself, you're crazy enough, right? But like when you're talking out loud to yourself, like when I started asking myself, like in the mirror, I'm like, what is making you sad? What is happening, right? And I was able to answer these questions a little bit more comfortable than trying to battle all this in my head. But anyway, no, I wholeheartedly agree. Take time for yourself, right? Don't feel guilty about saying no, right? Number one lesson there, don't feel guilty about saying no to others. Be at peace at yourself, be true to yourself, be humble, and you know aim for the freaking stars. We're all here for a short time, and we all want to be happy and do whatever makes you happy. Anyway, thank you guys for being a part of our podcast always, and thank you for tuning in today. Next week is the 4th of July. We'll go over some stuff there, but next week we also have a returning guest where I was able to talk to Frank, and Frank said he is interested in coming back and talking more. So we're gonna catch up with Frank next week and see how that's going, and then we'll see what's the rest for the summer. So I think next episode will. Oh, there you go, the fireworks. What we could do is next week, Rose, we'll catch up with Frank, and then we'll talk about stuff that we're looking forward to in the summer, because there's stuff I definitely want to talk about. Did want to do it today, but we're already at an hour and 20 minutes in. So if I talk about it now, we're gonna be here for 2 days. So we'll have to wait it out a little bit here. But anyway, we once again we thank you guys for being a part of the podcast. We love you, and we hope you guys have a motivated day. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Yes, cheers. Happy
Cheers. Oh my
motivated
god.
day, guys.
I haven't.
Yes,
Oh, one last
yes.
thing. I'm sorry. One last thing I'll say. I have water, but I started drinking mushroom coffee.
Okay, Breezy.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
so
not
I
promoting
only got
anything,
it.
but
I last very last. I'm sorry. I literally got it because my friend found a deal for it, and he was like, "Hey man, you want to try it?" And he had packs of it, so he bought it to work. Right. I'm not joking, and I don't know if it's maybe just a placebo effect, right? But it's basically instant coffee. You just kind of stir it until it's dissolved, right? And
it
it like so I'll drink Dunkin' Donuts, I'll drink Starbucks, and I'll still yawn when I drink it, right? This I stopped yawning. I don't feel tired anymore after drinking it. I felt a little bit more energized. It's supposed to be like a mood booster too. I was feeling maybe that's why I've been feeling a little bit better because I've been drinking this coffee. But I'm not gonna say I'm not trying to say I'm being a promoter for them or anything like that. But it's very interesting. I'm gonna say
I've
it's
heard good
very
things about
interesting.
it.
Definitely
Mushroom
like
coffee,
if
mushrooms itself as a bacteria, it's really good for your
That
gut.
too. That's the biggest
Talking
thing.
about,
It's everything
yeah.
about mushrooms, and they do have like a summer sale, so if you check it out, right? But I got like it was like 22 bucks or something like that, and I got like enough for 30 days, and I don't drink it every day, so it's gonna last me more than a month, right? But I love like it's been helping me. It's been helping me a lot. In fact, I'm gonna go have some right now, but it's been helping me a lot.
Okay, guys.
But anyway, uh, yeah, we'll see. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you again for being part of us, Rose. Cheers to you, and I hope you guys
Cheers.
have a
Well, my
motivated day.
perfect water.
There you go. I hope you
I
guys have a
started
motivated.
drinking perfect water, so
I haven't
this
even
is
heard of that. We're getting too deep into
this
stuff
is
that we don't know.
yes, this is ionized water with electrolytes, and it's been filtered 16 times. That's why it's called perfect because it's actually perfect.
That is
And I see such a huge difference. I'm hydrated. Yes, it's kind of pricey, but check it out.
nah. There you go. Check out Rise and check out Perfect. We got a lot of things going on. We're gonna need. I'm gonna start needing sponsorships. Is what we're gonna need at this point. But anyway, guys, really, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for talking, and we'll see you guys next week. All right, take care.
Bye bye, guys. Have a motivated day.